Hi there, and thank you for joining me in this Vinyasa class. Now, we're actually going to go ahead and get started in a standing position at the top of our mat. So when you're ready, come stand at the top of your mat, have your feet about hip width distance, relax your shoulders, relax your arms, and just let yourself be nice and soft, okay? And I just want you to give yourself a little wiggle, move your shoulders, throw yourself around, maybe even a little bit of a shake, and then just move your neck around, noticing any areas of tension or clicking. Apologies if you could hear that. Quite a stiff neck today. Okay, now I want you to come stand into Dasana. So root down through your feet, lift up your kneecaps, find a bit of activity through your quads, and then imagine you're stretching your hands down towards the ground, almost like someone's tugging them down towards the ground, okay? Maybe tilt the pelvis under ever so slightly. I want you to take a couple of deep breaths here. So nice big inhales, nice long exhales, or maybe even some sighs all the way out. Now on your inhale, I want you to reach your hands up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bend your knees, fold yourself forward, okay? You can release your hands down to the ground or you can grab opposite elbows. It's entirely up to you. Now I want you to pedal out your legs here, okay? So imagine straightening your left leg and bending your right a little bit deeper, then move from side to side. Feeling into that big stretch along the back of the legs, into the glutes, along the sides of the hamstring. Just being nice and easeful, not pushing too hard. Perfect. When you're ready, come back to your center. Come into your halfway lift. So either have your hands down towards the ground or your hands over your thighs. Okay, think about lengthening out from the waist up to the shoulders, rolling the shoulders back slightly. And then when you're ready, plant your hands down, step back into your high plank or a tabletop position. Round through the upper back, come right onto the tips of the toes and drive everything forward, and then slowly lower down as you squeeze the elbows in towards the midline. Okay? Now untuck your toes, squeeze your elbows in, drag your hand back as you push down through the pelvis, and think about lifting everything up and forward for your cobra. Exhale to lower, come up 2 more times, squeeze everything in, peel the chest up and forward, feeling all of those back muscles activate, and then exhale to lower. Perfect. One last time. Inhale to squeeze everything up, drag your hands back, and then exhale to lower. Perfect. Now we're going to make our way to down dog. So come up to your knees or come up through high plank and lift your hips up and back. Now drive down through the hands. Remember, you can have a bend through your knees here. And imagine lifting the hips up as you push the heels down towards the ground. They do not have to touch the ground, but that's the direction that they're going into just to help facilitate that stretch. Okay? Now breathe deeply into the sides of your ribs, deeply into the belly. You're welcome to gaze between the toes or between the knees if that feels okay for your neck. And just like our forward fold, feel free to pedal out the legs here. Perfect. And when you're ready, I want you to take a big inhale, come right onto the tips of your toes, start to shift forward as if you're going to come into a high plank pose, and then drop your knees down towards the ground, but just hover them off the floor an inch or two. Hold them there, round through the upper back and stay. Imagine you can kick your heels away from here. Squeeze, 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 and then come into your down dog. Lift everything up. Take a big breath in, big breath out. Okay, same movement again. Come up onto the tips of your toes, shift forward as if you're coming into a high plank, round through the upper back, then lower your knees down towards the ground, hover them, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that core, keep it active. Okay, take one more big inhale, exhale, down dog. Going to go one more time, okay? Inhale, lift up to the toes, shift forward into your high plank, and lower, lower, lower. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come into your down dog. When you're ready, step forward, find your halfway lift, and then fold everything down. You can be a little bit more passive here, have a soft bend in the knees, let your head relax. And when you're ready, push down through the feet, stand up tall, reach both hands up towards the ceiling, and then release your hands down by the sides. Okay, inhale to reach your hands up, and exhale to fold. Find your halfway lift, step back to your high plank, shift forward, then lower down. 3 rounds of cobra. Push down through your pelvis, squeeze your elbows in, drag your hands back as you peel the chest up and forward, then lower. 2 more times, squeeze everything in, lift up. 1 more time, lower down, and squeeze everything in, lift everything up. Open through the chest as you squeeze and activate the back muscles, and lower down, making your way back to downward dog. Perfect. Now breathe nice and deeply, smoothly. Release a sigh if your body needs to release a sigh. Pedal out the legs if you feel like you need to pedal out the legs. Then when you're ready, drive down through both hands. Lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Okay? Squeeze your knee in towards your chest as you travel forward, coming into your high plank. Keep squeezing your knee in towards your chest. Drive your back heel away from you, round through your upper back. Then bring your right knee to your right elbow and cross it over to your left elbow. Back into the middle, squeeze everything up, and then come back to your down dog. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. So inhale to lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your left knee in towards your chest as you shift forward into your high plank, round through the upper back. Then left knee, left elbow. Then left knee, right elbow. And come back into center, round up, squeeze up a bit higher, and come back to your down dog. Okay, big inhale, big sigh. Okay, now come right onto the tips of your toes, lower your knees, come down towards the ground, just like that bear position we were in before. Hover your knees off the floor, round through your upper back, and then come back to your down dog. When you're ready, step forward, find your halfway lift, and then fold. Breathe steady. Bring your breath back. And when you're ready, push through the feet, stand up tall. Put your hands up towards the ceiling. And then bring your right hand down towards your right side. Lift up and over towards the right. Big side stretch. Back through center. Left hand down this time. Then right hand reaches up and over. Back through center, reach up. One more time on both sides. Right hand comes down. Left hand reaches up and over. Then back through center. Both hands reach up. Left hand down. Right hand reaches up and over. Perfect. Now come back through center. Reach both hands up. And then fold down. Find your halfway lift. And this time step your left foot back. Drop your back knee down towards the ground for your Vinyasa or your low lunge. And bring your hands up to your hips. Square the hips. Push down through both feet. Squeeze everything in towards the midline. And allow your hips to sink forward. If there's space, of course you can wiggle your front foot a little bit further forward as well. Your hands can stay on your hips or you can reach them up towards the ceiling. Breathe nice and deeply into all of this space along the sides of the body, sides of the ribs. Shoulders soft, but still reaching up, out through the hands. Take one more big inhale. And on your exhale, bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Your right hand can come to your hip. Lift up out the waist as you twist open. Your hand can stay on the back hip, or you can reach it back, okay? Palm in the same direction as your chest. Take one more inhale here. Come all the way back through center. Reach both hands up. And this time, left hand's going to come down to your back thigh, and your right hand's going to reach up. Okay. Now you can stay here, maybe tilting the chest a little bit further open towards the left. You can stay here, or maybe you'll start to wiggle the hand a little bit further back towards the heel, lifting up further with the right hand. Okay, just being wherever is right for you just now. Okay, come all the way back through center. Reach both hands up. And this time, plant your hands down on the inside of your leg. Wiggle your right foot out towards the side. And then I want you to squeeze your front knee in towards your shoulder as you push down through your back leg and lift it up off the ground, okay? Keeping your hips low and leaning forward. Now, if this is too much, you can keep the back knee down and just focus on squeezing that front knee in towards the shoulder. Just take a few more breaths here. Stay steady, stay strong through your arms. Keep squeezing that front knee. Now squeeze your right foot out towards the side and either coming back towards tabletop or stepping back to a high plank. From here, shift forward and then lower down. Perfect. Now untuck your toes. This time, hover your hands up off the floor, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other, lift everything up, and then peel the chest up off the floor. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, come up, and either staying here or reaching your hands out in a V shape. Keep lifting the shoulder blades up, keep lifting the hands up, then bring them back down and lower. Okay, come up for one normal round of Cobra. Squeeze the elbows in, drag the hands back, peel the chest up and forward, and then lower down. Tuck the back toes, come up to your knees, and then back to down dog. When you're ready, step forward, finding your halfway lift, and fold everything back down. Now push down through your feet, stand up tall, lift your hands up towards the ceiling, and then right hand's going to come down, lift your left hand up and over for your sideways stretch, your side lean. Come back to center, same thing on the other side. Both hands reach up, then left hand comes down and reach up and over. Perfect, come up, back through center, reach both hands up towards the ceiling. Then this time, interlace your hands, base of your spine, wiggle your feet out a tiny bit wider. Now I want you to roll your shoulders back, straighten your arms, and then start to fold down. You can bend your knees quite deeply here, okay? So either just coming into your fold and just working towards straightening the arms, or maybe starting to lift them up and over, thinking about lifting the shoulders away from the neck, away from the ears, and relaxing your head down. Your legs do not have to be straight here at all. You can have a nice bend through the knees and eventually maybe work towards straightening the legs out. As long as you keep lifting your shoulders away from your ears, you're doing the good work. Now on our next inhale, we're going to transition into chair pose. So gently release the arms down towards your sides. Bend your knees, sink your hips back and down, and reach your arms either up or in front of you, okay? So imagine you're sitting down on a chair. If only there was actually a chair there, eh? So really pushing down firmly through both legs. Try not to let the knees knock in or open out towards the side. Keep them nice and parallel. Hold it here. I know this is tough. Take one more inhale. Lift up and fold back down. Perfect. Find your halfway lift. This time, step your right foot back, drop the back knee down for Vinyasa. Wiggle the front foot forward if there's space, and bring your hands up to your hips. Okay, same sequence of postures on this side. So lunge forward and reach your hands up. Keep pushing down through both feet and squeezing everything in towards the midline as if it lifts up and away from the hips. And on your next inhale, release a nice big sigh. Bring your right hand to the outside of the left knee. Back hand can come to the hip. Lift up out the waist again and then twist open towards the left. Your back hand can stay here or reach it out behind you. So as we're reaching that hand away, imagine this chest, or this upper part of the chest, is rotating a little bit more. Perfect. On your next inhale, bring everything back through center. Reach both hands up. Then your right hand is going to come down towards that back thigh and lift the left hand up towards the ceiling. Maybe arching back slightly. Okay? Maybe twisting the torso open slightly to the right. And also maybe reaching the hand a little bit further back if there's space. Now keep lunging into that front leg as best as we can. Okay. Take one more big breath. Then come back to center. Reach both hands up. And then bring both hands down to frame your front foot. On the inside of your front leg, should I say. Wiggle your left foot out to the side. Push down through the back foot. Lift the back knee and squeeze the front knee in towards the shoulder, okay? Think about being long and broad through the chest. Keep with it. Take 2 more breaths. And wiggle your left foot out to the side and step back. Shift your weight forward and lower down. Okay, now untuck the toes, hover the hands off the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. Extend the arms out into that V pose. And then from here, peel the chest up off the floor, lower it down. One more time. Peel everything up, lift your hands up a bit more, and then lower it back down. Your hands are going to come under your shoulders. Squeeze your elbows in, lift everything up for a cobra pose, and pause at the top. Take a big sigh. One more big inhale. Nice big exhale. Lower everything all the way down. This time make a little pillow for your forehead and rest one side of your temple. Down on your hands. Take 2 breaths there. Breathing deeply into the low belly. Feeling that expansion in the low back. And then swap onto the other side of your head, the other side of your temple. Take 2 breaths there. And then when you're ready, bring your hands under your shoulders, come up towards your knees, and then we're going to come into a tabletop position, okay? So we're going to start to wind down from this point, keeping some of the energy going to leave you a bit rejuvenated for the rest of the day, okay? So on your exhale, round through the upper back, coming into your cat pose. Squeeze everything in towards the midline, lift everything away, and hold everything here. Hold your cat pose. Keep everything rounded. Take 1 more big inhale. Release a sigh, but stay here. And we're going to come into our cow pose, okay? So keep the arms straight, drop the belly, puff up the chest, gaze forward, stick the bum away, and hold it here. Breathe deeply into the sides of the ribs, into the belly. And then come into a neutral position and come back towards your heels. Okay? Now we're going to come into a back bend. There's a couple of options here. We're going to be coming into camel. Okay? So I want you to have your knees underneath your hips. So your knees aren't wide, they're not too close together, okay? Have the back toes tucked, okay? Now with back bends, I want us to have this sort of ability to push, okay? So push through the legs, keep that engagement, keep the glutes engaged, so we can lift up and think about extending up out the hips as we lean back. Now the first variation of this pose is very simple. We're just going to tuck our pelvis underneath us, if we can. Push down through the legs, so we're nice and rigid. Reach your arms up, turn the palms to face forward, lift the chest up as if it's reaching up towards the ceiling, finding a bit more space through the front of the body. Okay, keep the glutes engaged, and then turn your palms into fists and squeeze your elbows down towards your hips. So as much as you're squeezing back, you're lifting everything up and away from the hips. Okay, keep that engagement, stay here, reach your hands up, palms face forward again, unclench your fists, take a deep breath, and on an inhale, lift everything up. Open the chest up, squeeze the glutes, keep the legs engaged, turn your hands into fists, and squeeze your elbows down towards your hips. Hold here. And then inhale, reach up. And then exhale, untuck your toes, and sink back towards your heels, just sitting everything down. Turn your palms to face up, resting down on your thighs, and take a few deep breaths. Letting yourself soften, letting your body relax. Think about making the breath expansive, spacious. And when you're ready, when you tuck the toes, come back up onto your knees, and you're either going to repeat the same position with your arms up and squeezed down, or you're going to bring your hands to your hips, okay, behind you, almost like you're using your hands to support you and lift everything up out the waist, okay? So squeeze your elbows behind you if you're coming with me. Push your hands into your sort of low back. Think about staying active through the legs, Then lift the chest up, opening the chest up just like we would in a cobra pose, but your hands are just going to stay nice and rigid. Squeeze the elbows towards each other so we're keeping that back engaged, long through the front of the body. Keep the legs engaged. Okay, and then think about lifting up and out the waist for our back bend. Okay, breathing deeply, steadily, then come all the way back up, using the hands to support you. Untuck the toes, sit back towards the heels, palms face up again on the thighs. 3 deep breaths. When you're ready, come back up. Last round. Tuck the toes, push through the legs. Now you've got 2 options now, but we're going to add a third if you're wanting to. So either hands up, squeeze the elbows down, or hands supporting the back, lifting everything up out the waist and keeping the glutes nice and active. Alternatively, you're going to keep your hands here, do the same thing we've done, lift up out the waist, keep the legs active, but maybe if we're finding a bit more space and we're feeling comfortable, maybe we can release a hand down towards the ankle. Now you can stay there with one hand, just feel how it is and then bring it back. It's important that we can get out the position with stability and with control. So maybe try one hand, and then if you're feeling comfortable, reach both hands down. And from here, keep the legs active, keep the glutes active, keep thinking about lifting up out the waist and keeping the shoulders open. Now some people like to have their neck drop back. Personally, I like to have my chin slightly tucked forward, okay? And you take one more breath here, then bring your hands back to your hips, come all the way back up, untuck the toes, and sit back on your heels. Perfect. And from here, I want you to just gently tuck and untuck the pelvis. You can keep your hands on your hips if you like, and you can take some side stretches. Roll your shoulders around, and then bring your palms to face up on your thighs. And allow yourself to rest. And from here, you're going to spin around, come down onto your back. Okay? You can stay here or bring your feet together. Okay? Lift your hips up and over towards the right, an inch or so, and then release your knees down towards the left. Breathe deeply into this right-hand side of the lung, right-hand side of the rib cage, feeling that spaciousness. And of course, your hands can reach out to either side if you prefer. You can spend as long here as you want. And then you're going to come back through center, recenter your hips, scooch the hips over to the left, and do the same thing on the right. Okay? Allowing your spine a chance to decompress. And rest. Then when you're ready, you'll come back through center, recenter your hips, and rest. Either in Shavasana or come into any comfortable seat for a slight meditation. Considering this is a class that helps build heat, you're welcome, maybe even encouraged, to just find any comfortable seat and just take a few deep breaths. Okay, feeling through the body, feeling through the breath, just giving yourself a chance to neutralize, okay, and to just ground and allow yourself a chance to carry this energy onwards into the rest of your day, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed this class, and remember, if you want to lie down in Shavasana, you can stay there for as long as you want, but this is where I'll leave you, okay? So have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for practicing with me. Om.